Were you raised to be submissive? I was. I'm Veera Mahajan. One of my most favorite memories is reading to my younger brother, who was 7 years younger than me. It was my job to take care of him when my mother was doing other things at home. And he would run to me because he knew that I would be reading his favorite comic books. And he would laugh, and seeing him laugh made me happy. But one of those wonderful moments turned into a chaos because my father, as usual, was yelling at my mother, and my mother called me, and I quickly got up and went to help her. In the process, I left my brother unstable on the chair desk, and he fell and he broke his baby tooth, and he was crying. So I came running back to help him now. And that incident actually bonded us even more, and that bond is going strong after 50 years. And another memory, which I wish I could forget, I can't forget, is it was dark, the power was out, and my mother was very sick. She was in the bed, and my brothers and I, we were sitting with her in the bed. And my father comes home, and he sees that my mother didn't get a chance to cook. And now he's very upset. And he turns the stove on, and we thought he's going to cook. But instead, he threw the burning stove under the bed where all of us were in and just left. And my mother was so tired of his abuse that she didn't even want to save us. But when the bed started burning and smelling of the fire, my older brother, who was probably about 10-year-old, he got up and he pulled the stove from under our bed and saved us all. I grew up in India, so I was groomed to be submissive. I lived someone else's version of my life. I was told when to be seen and when to stay behind the scenes. My mother was always on a lookout to make sure that we didn't upset our father. And I remember those nights when my brothers and I, we stood by the wall and cried and watched my mother being beaten just because he could. And we did not, none of us had a nerve to say anything to him. And me, being the only girl, lived under very strict rules. I remember shrinking in my own skin when my father would mock me and say, "You're too skinny to be a doctor, too short to be a lawyer." So math and science was picked for me, and I was told to focus on cooking and learning how to cook well, otherwise who was going to marry me? And that was my normal. And crying was the only way out. I was 19 when we moved to California, or US. But we took the bad behavior with us. As you know, domestic abuse is a global problem. But in most Indian families, abuse is a normal way of living and an accepted way of living. How many times you guys would probably catch yourself say, "I'm fine, I'm good," but inside nothing is really feeling good or fine? I was 21 when I met someone who said he loved me, he respected me, and he wanted to marry me. I was happy. I thought, okay, my life of abuse will be over. But that didn't last very long. He started being angry, just like my father. And he would lie and get more upset if I asked anything. I started fearing him coming home. There were days when my sons and I did not know how to make the hitting or yelling to stop. And those days, I would just wanted to die. I wish I knew then what I learned later, that every time I gave him a pass for his bad behavior, he took it as a permission to do worse the next time. It was heartbreaking to see the love disappear from our marriage. I was not happy, but I didn't have the tools to do anything about it. I didn't know how to stand up for myself. So I lived in this marriage for another 23 years till I freed myself and my sons. So I moved 3,000 miles away from Michigan to California. And one wonderful morning, I woke up and I realized, wow, I haven't cried for 3 months. Wow, I was finally free. I could not stop smiling the rest of the day. But my story is not unique. There are about 50% of the women around the world live in similar or worse conditions. And that's why I work now to help women feel empowered so their journey to freedom will be better and faster and easier than mine. A woman I interviewed for my book told me that her husband, after a huge argument, just wanted to go out and get some fresh air. But she started panicking. She thought he was going to leave her. So she begged him to hit her, forgive her, and to just tell her that he loved her, because that's the only version of love she knew. And that was her normal. And from these women and men that I interviewed, I learned about the difference in the good and the bad normal. In any relationship, if someone makes you feel bad about yourself, that is a bad normal. In a good relationship, you should always feel loved and safe. And another thing these wonderful people that I interviewed, they're my heroes, they taught me was financial independence. Financial independence is a big step in feeling empowered and getting your own power and be able to stand up for yourself. And once an empowered woman makes up her mind, she's unstoppable. You probably know that. To make the changes in my life, to live a better life, I created a formula called LIVE, the letters in the word live, to help me, to remind me to stay empowered. L for loving myself, I for insisting on freedom, V for victory over victim syndrome, and E for empowerment. And LIVE formula keeps me grounded, helps me make better, wiser decisions for myself. It reminds me that I'm important. And it's also like having a coach by my side all the time. And I am nobody's victim now. I am living a wonderful life, and my children are free to live their lives. I live in Malibu, California, and I'm free, not afraid of anyone. Can you imagine a life where you wake up and you can do anything you want and you can dream as big as you want? Can you? Good, because I can, because I'm living that life. And that is an amazing feeling. And I work with women because I want them to know this feeling. I want them to have this feeling. Choosing to be free is the only way you can really own your power. And you'll know you're free when you're free in your own home. And I want to invite everybody to make the promise to yourself that you will live life on your own terms, no matter what. Let's teach girls, or boys also, to what the good normal is. If you don't even know the good normal, you'll accept bad normal as your way of living. So let's teach our girls what a good normal is. And also to know that anything less than that should be unacceptable. And instead of, let's ask our children, our girls, what do they want to be, instead of telling them what they should do or what we think is right for them. And that will empower them. They'll grow up to be empowered girls. And do you think they'll be more prepared to deal with someone, stop someone who tries to hurt them? I definitely think so. You know, it was so amazing to be invited to TEDxSIMSREE, but more wonderful was the empowered feeling that I could make this decision to travel and come from LA to Mumbai. I didn't have to ask anyone. I didn't have to get anybody's approval. I didn't have to get anybody's permission. And that is the life that you should have. If you want to do something, you should be able to go do it, right? And I am determined to teach the girls LIVE formula while they're young. And I know it takes a village to bring up a child. So let's be that global village for our girls and remind them and help them believe that they are strong and they are smart and they're capable. And also our girls should know that it's okay to love and respect ourselves, right? And it's okay to demand that respect. Like Dr. Maya Angelou said, people will treat us as we allow them to treat us.